Good morning and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today's a fun video because we are going to decorate our house for Christmas, and then also I'm going to do like an all things motherhood, postpartum, baby Q&A. I asked that on my Instagram a while ago and just never got around to making this video, so I think it'll be fun. I have a lot of notes written down, so if you're interested in that, stay tuned towards the end. Otherwise, you'll just see one of our regular vlogs here in the beginning. Most days I work out in my home gym, but today it's getting late and I have errands to run and stuff, so I'm just going to work out in the living room while the kids have breakfast. Look at this view. Hey, baby. What are you doing? What are you doing? Look who's joining us today. It's Jack. He's back.
I haven't talked to you guys forever.
If you guys haven't seen his latest YouTube of his New York trip, go watch it. I'll leave a link down below. It's really good.
It's weird having a Saturday feel like a Saturday.
I know, I don't know what to do with myself.
I don't either.
Decorate for Christmas. I'm so excited.
Yeah.
T, what are we doing right now?
Doing Christmas.
Finally, goodbye to Halloween.
I know. I swear it's usually snowing at this point. I like your shoes.
Put it. You gotta put it on the other door, huh?
Okay, it's been a minute and we haven't been vlogging, but it's Saturday. We had Derek and Jack and Sunny over. Okay. To watch football, made some food. I made these like yummy tri-tip sandwiches.
Best homemade sandwich I've ever had.
Anyways, we're gonna go to Walmart right now because we have to get a few little groceries and then some things for Christmas because I've got to hang my stockings. Oh, that was beautiful. I need to hang my stockings, so I need something to hold those up. Dude, the sky's on fire. That's like insane. Look at that. Sky is skying right now. Holy guacamole.
Oh, my family drives me crazy, but you know I wouldn't change a thing.
Good morning, it's another day. Jack and I spent the night last night watching trash TV and we haven't done that in a minute, so it was fun. Alexa, turn it off. It's a Sunday morning and I want to make crepes, but I don't have whipped cream. So I'm gonna see if I have heavy whipping cream so I can make quick whipped cream. Because I just feel like crepes on a Sunday morning is everything. Tommy? Hey, who's that? I can't see you. Who is it? You are silly. Whoa! Daddy, can you help me pour this in? You can do it. Just put it straight over here. Make your crepe.
Perfectly cooked crepe.
Okay, let me just run you through the best crepe really quick. Got this recipe from, actually I think it's Derek's mom's recipe, but Sarah makes it all the time. Anyways, start with the crepe. You put some butter down on it, then you get a little bit of sugar, sprinkle the sugar. And then you get the whipped cream, which I don't think I can ever do it without homemade whipped cream now because this is the move. Do about that much, and then you get a lemon, and you give it a good squeeze. It's very simple. That is so good. Okay, probably the moment you've all been waiting for. I'm sure you're so stoked for this Q&A, but I have been putting this off because I just feel like I never have a second just to like put my thoughts down and talk about like everything postpartum, because there's just like so much that goes into it. There's like yourself postpartum, and then there's like your kids postpartum, and if you have 2 kids or more kids, it just like gets more and more complicated. But I just feel like Jack and I have found like a pretty good rhythm, so I just want to share any helpful tips that have helped us over the past, what has it been? We've had kids for 3 years now, so 3 years we've been in this postpartum journey. I feel like I never really got out of it after Tommy, and then I had another baby. So just to preface, I am not a professional. I don't know what I'm doing. I just have 2 kids and live life on the go, and we just have a very relaxed style of parenting. So just gonna share all of the things, starting out with the Q&A and then just some thoughts at the end. First question is how to get your babies to sleep without being on a strict schedule. For us, what has worked has just been allowing them to sleep anywhere in the house, not using blackout curtains, not using noise machine, not keeping ourselves stuck at home. If their babies are taking a nap, we always just bring them on the go, purposely having them nap in cars, on trains and buses, airplanes, just purposely having them sleep everywhere and anywhere so they don't get used to the same environment and require that only environment to sleep. I have some friends and some family members that love nap time, and they love to have their kids in a dark room with a noise machine, a sleep sack, and the big thing that goes over their crib, the black thing that just like blocks out any light, and they probably get great sleep. But for me, my kids are on the couch while I'm vacuuming, while I'm doing dishes, while Tommy's screaming. I never tell Tommy to be quiet when Velzy's sleeping, and Velzy can sleep through pretty much anything. We did that with Tommy, and she is still a great sleeper. She napped on the beach in Hawaii. Like, she would take 2 naps on the beach every day. It was absolutely amazing. We're so glad we did that with Tommy, and so we'll just continue to do that with all of our kids. I think if you start that from the beginning, they just get used to chaos and they're able just to fall asleep when they're tired. But then again, the people that sleep train swear by their kids go to bed at 7 and wake up at 7, and that's just like stability in their life. And for those kind of personalities, it totally works for them. For me, I don't really have a schedule for myself, so having my kids on a schedule just doesn't make sense. Another tip that I just thought of is find consistency in your inconsistency. For example, bring a swaddle with you. We swaddle our babies for a long time, so when we're on an airplane, we swaddle them up. They know it's bedtime, and so even though it's not in the environment that they're used to sleeping in, it doesn't matter because they have the consistency of the swaddle. Or that could be a binky, or that could be a bottle if you formula feed. Just like find like a piece of consistency in the chaos, and then your baby kind of like, okay, I know it's time to go to bed, and then you can kind of rely on that to help put your baby to sleep. What would you say to someone who's scared to become a mother? Me, LOL. Oh, I like have chilled reading this message because I totally know that feeling. Like before I had kids, I felt like I had no connection to my future kids. I would like literally pray at night, like, please help me feel some sort of connection and bond to my kids that aren't here yet. Like I didn't feel any of that. I didn't feel maternal. I loved babies and I loved filming births, but like I just didn't see it as like something I would be good at. So I totally understand that. But like when your kids come, you just like love them to death. Like your arm is on your body and it's your arm. It's like your kid is your kid, and you know you need to take care of it, and you just do, and you do your best. I love being a mom, and I just don't think anybody needs to be scared. If it is the right situation and you're in a healthy place in life, I think kids can be the biggest blessing. I'm obsessed with my kids. I know the girl that wrote this message, and I just like know she will be the most incredible mom ever. Like, kids are the best thing in the world. They really are. Tips for getting into a routine with a newborn and a toddler. When I came home from the hospital with Velzy, my second baby, I was flipping out. I was like, whoa, like, how do I handle 2 kids? How do I handle Jack? How does Jack handle me with 2 kids? How do I recover from my C-section and take care of 2 kids? What am I supposed to do? Just give yourself a couple weeks and you will get into the flow of having 2 kids, and it will just become so normal and natural. I wish someone would have told me that because I was freaking out. I just never thought I would feel comfortable with 2 kids because it is such a change. But just trust me, give yourself 2 weeks. You're gonna wake up in the morning and be like, okay, I know what to do with 2 kids. You're gonna go to bed and be like, okay, I know what to expect with 2 kids. This question is, do you sleep train your babies? I mentioned earlier that I don't sleep train my babies. I put them to bed when they're tired. They wake up when they wake up. I look for red eyebrows. When your babies have red eyebrows, that means they're tired. My babies don't cry very much, so when Velzy does cry or get fussy, I know that she's tired or she's hungry. If I've already fed her, I know that she's tired. I just look off of cues rather than like, okay, it's 3 o'clock, she has to go to bed. Or, okay, it's 5 o'clock, I need to wake her up right now so that she sleeps tonight. The big misconception that everyone has is, okay, so if my baby doesn't sleep all day, then they're gonna just crash and sleep the whole entire night. That is not true. Please listen to me. The better your baby sleeps during the day, the better your baby sleeps at night. So give your baby as much sleep as they can during the day. They will sleep so good at night. Just test it out and you will thank me later. That's my advice. Where to start when getting back into shape postpartum? I would say 12-3:30. When I went to the doctor at 2 weeks postpartum, I was like, hey, can I walk on the treadmill? They're like, yeah, great, do it. So I would put my incline at a 12, and then I would put my speed at 3, and then just do 30 minutes. I would watch a YouTube video, and that would help me get through it. It was hard, but like if you hold on to the sides or the front, it makes it easier. But if you start to feel like you can let go, try to let go, because it's a way harder workout if your arms are just like down by your side, like normally walking. And that really helps get your heart rate up and gets you kind of like back into the rhythm of things. I do Hannah Pointer macro habits. You guys have probably seen me post about her. I do her programs, and I think those are a great place to start because all you need is like some dumbbells and bands. As for food, I would say don't restrict yourself, especially in the beginning. You need all the food, you need all of the milk, your baby needs all of the nutrients. Just like try to incorporate big green smoothies, grass-fed meats, all organic foods if you can, of what you can control. Take in all of those calories and then do what you can with your exercise instead of focusing so much on food in the beginning. That would be my biggest tip. How long did it take for your babies to start nursing independently? Nursing. Oh, I could make a full video on nursing. Let me just break this down. My first experience in the hospital with Tommy, I didn't really know anything about it, but like, sure, we can try. And so the nurse was like, okay, well, we should try. And I was like, okay. I tried and Tommy latched and I was like, okay, this is cool. And then she was like, do you need the lactation consultant? And I was like, no, I'm fine. Anyways, 2 hours later, I was like, bring the lactation consultant in right now. I need her. She came in, she helped me, and then she left. And then the next day, I was like, I need her again, but I'm too embarrassed to call her. I'm just not gonna nurse. Like, I really didn't care. And Jack was like, Kenna, just keep trying. Like, just call that girl again. Have her come in your hospital room. Like, it's not embarrassing. I'm sure she does this all the time. So I call her, I'm like, hey, can you come back in? She's like, yeah, for sure. Came back in, helped me, because by that point I was like squeezing the milk out, or the colostrum, and then spoon feeding Tommy. Like, I was honestly just like, anyway, she came back in and helped me, and it was just like that time where it clicked, and I was like, oh my gosh, okay, I can do this, I can do this. So I would say don't be embarrassed to ask for help, especially if you're in the hospital. Like, bring that lactation consultant in every 5 minutes if you need her, because like that is where you can get the most help, and you're just like already naked and just whatever, like you feel more comfortable learning in there. Otherwise, there is this girl that I will leave a link below who can come to your house after the hospital, or if you have a home birth. She is the best lactation consultant. She was the one that was with me with Tommy in the hospital, and then honestly with Velzy I didn't even need one because I had like kind of mastered it with Tommy. When I got home from the hospital, I was like, every time Tommy had to eat, I was like, hey, Jack, come here, come help me, let's go upstairs, let's, you know, I had to have this like pillow, and then I had her in this like the football position, and then I had to have my shirt off, and like it was the biggest process and just kind of stressful. But just give yourself like a week or two of having each feeding be kind of like a big deal. A piece of advice that I would say is try to help your baby learn how to nurse laying down. So like what I mean is like you're laying down and your baby's laying down with you right here nursing, because it's just so much easier to nurse laying down because they're already right there, you're right there, and then it's just like easy, and you don't have to have this like massive setup or be in this chair or whatever. And also, when people were over, I would literally just like lay on the floor and turn over, and Veldy or Tommy would be right there, and I could just like nurse them and then put my shirt back over. Like, it just made it a lot more seamless. But I would say get a nursing pillow for the first few weeks that just like goes over your lap like this, because you can put them in a bunch of different positions. That's my advice for nursing in the first few weeks. Disciplining strategy for a toddler. I should make another video about this, but I would just say if you are interested in kind of the way that I discipline Tommy, I would read The Theory of Objectivist Parenting. It's on Amazon. It's so cheap. It's such a good read, and it kind of condenses all of the books I've read into like that book. I would say like kind of goes over everything, and I reread it often just to like kind of keep up on the things that I do want to implement. And I'm not perfect in any of it, and there are a few little things that I do differently than the book says, but I just really love the way that like spoke true to me in the ways that they talk about parenting and how your kids react when you parent. But we aren't necessarily like gentle parenters. I would say we are, but we like aren't as well. I don't allow Tommy to hit. She's very clear of my expectations of her. I don't expect her to be perfect. I do remove her from situations if she's hitting or if she's throwing things and I repeatedly ask her to stop. I will bring her into timeout, but it's not really a timeout because I'm with her. I never put her in an isolated timeout. I'm with her and I talk with her and we chat about why she's doing the things that she's doing and if she understands why I don't want her to do that. She's very smart, so I can have like adult conversations with her. And then I give her a huge hug, tell her I love her, and then if she needs to apologize to someone that she hit out here, then she'll just come out and apologize and then we move on. But like, I do not believe in isolated timeouts. I don't believe in shaming your kids, and I really try not to bribe them with certain things to get them to do what I want to do. Anyways, I'll make a video of this later. If you're more interested in hearing more about my style of parenting with a toddler, let me know. Postpartum depression, anxiety. I did not experience postpartum depression. I'm really blessed that I didn't, but I do think that has a lot to do with the fact that Jack and I work together and we do tackle parenting 50-50, and so knowing that he wasn't going to go back to work I think that helped me not have postpartum depression. I did have depression when I was on my mission in Peru, so I do understand what it is, but I didn't feel any of that postpartum. I did have anxiety because I was just so nervous that my kids were gonna I'm always nervous in the beginning that my kids are going to like suffocate in their sleep or something's gonna happen, and obviously SIDS is something very scary to think about, but I little by little you become more confident as a mother and the anxiety slowly starts to go down once you get into like a safe routine with your kids that you just like trust. Would love to know more about how you built up a freezer stash because I have hardly anything. If you aren't familiar with what a freezer stash is, I would say it's like your top drawer of your freezer or your whole freezer that could potentially be full of breast milk so that you can leave and go do your thing, and then your husband or a friend or parent or a babysitter can feed your baby breast milk. If there's anything you take from this video, just please listen to this. I think this is the key to building up a good freezer stash. Okay, so you get colostrum in the hospital, and that's like this gold, like it is the best. Like your milk is like gold when it comes out, and then slowly it starts to become more white, but the gold stuff is the best. Anyways, around 3 days after you have your baby, your milk will come in. Your boobs are gonna get massive and you're just gonna be like, oh my gosh. Your boobs are gonna be so big and create so much milk, but your baby's stomach is still like this big, so they really don't need that much milk. What I do is I put one of my LV pumps on every time I nurse Tommy or Belzy. This makes it so my body thinks it needs to make milk for 2 kids. So each time, I would say probably like, say I'm doing 8 feedings a day, which I never count, I don't know. I would say like 6 or 7 of them I am nursing and pumping simultaneously, and that makes my freezer stash massive. Like I had so much milk within a matter of 2 weeks. I was so stoked. That's what I did for about 6 weeks, and then I stopped pumping completely because I wanted my milk to regulate. I didn't want to like create milk for 2 kids my whole postpartum experience because I don't need that. I just need milk for one of them. So I would start to only pump like 1 or 2 feedings of the day. And this is even at night, because at night you create so much milk and your baby starts to sleep longer and longer. So that is like really important to keep the LV pump on when you nurse at night. And like I'm saying, you don't have to do any of this. This is just how I built up my freezer stash because I knew I wanted to go travel and go have date nights and all of these things without feeling stressed about my baby being fed. So now after 6 weeks, the only time I ever pump is when I'm away from Belzy. For example, I went to a cabin last week with my friend Lauren, and it was really last minute, but I had a freezer stash and I went up there and I just like pumped every 3 hours or so, and then came back and could replace the milk Jack used with the milk that I pumped at the cabin. Does that make sense? But if you start that first 6 weeks off with having a ton of milk storage, then you can leave on like a week-long trip and not worry about it. And obviously there's formula that is for any emergency, but ideally if you're breastfeeding, you want your baby to have breast milk. Hi T! If you are already past that 6 weeks and you're like, hey, I want a freezer stash, I would say wake up in the middle of the night and pump, because your body creates milk in the middle of the night, and the more your baby nurses or the more you pump, the more milk your body is going to create. I would say up your water supply and up your fats in your diet, just having healthy fats. Up them and ramp them up in your diet. Like I said, drink water, and then I think you can build a freezer stash if you start having 1 pump a day, because it's not like your baby's needing that feeding in the night anyways. What's been the hardest and most wonderful part after having Bells? Oh, I just love having her. I love her and Tommy's relationship so much. The beginning, it's really rocky because your 2-year-old is like, oh, you're not her mom, like stop saying that you're her mom, and you're like, oh, my heart hurts. But it just like, give yourself time because it slowly becomes better. Oh no, my camera's gonna die. How do you keep from losing yourself in motherhood, having a little bit of a routine in the morning helps set me up to have a successful day and feel successful as a mom. Hi, babe. Whether that means waking up a little bit earlier than everyone just to have a few moments for yourself and setting goals for yourself that don't have anything to do with your kids or your husband. All things bed sharing, especially with two, we bed share and are thinking about having our second. We bed share with our kids from the time they're 8 months and on, because that's just kind of like when they're out of the scare zone for my personal comfort level, where they're big enough and I can put them in a Merlin sleep suit and they can just like be in our bed and they're like taking up enough space to where I don't feel like they're gonna get rolled on. But in the beginning, we just have them in a snoo bassinet next to our bed. Right now, they're both in our bed, so I don't really know. All right, sorry my camera died. I'm going to get through these quicker. I feel like I've been taking too long responding, but I just get really excited when talking about things like this. C-section recovery versus vaginal birth and your preference. I prefer vaginal birth a million times over. So that is my short answer for the question. I prefer a vaginal birth and I will do a VBAC next time, so I'm so excited. Anyways, how much water are you drinking for breastfeeding milk supply? I am drinking a gallon of water a day. I think how much water you are drinking every day has a lot to do with your milk supply. How do you know when to incorporate bottles with a newborn? I incorporate bottles with a newborn after 2 weeks because I do not want them to only know how to nurse. That gives me anxiety because then I just feel like I can't leave them and I'm worried that they're not going to get nutrients if I'm not there. So after 2 weeks, we incorporate a bottle. And then after that, we probably give her one a week, even if I'm with her all the time, just to make sure she knows how to drink it. How are you so chill? Be real, like actual tips. I aspire to be as chill as you, but I need help. This is funny. Jack would probably say the opposite. No, I do feel like our parenting style is very chill. I think babies feed off of parents so much. So I think that helps us. They're gonna be chill if we're chill, if you know what I mean. But some kids are just like wired differently where they're just like so jazzed all the time, which is super cool. But for us, like I think our babies just kind of like go with the flow. But we definitely have times where we are not chill and we don't know what the heck we're doing. And we look at each other and we're like, we are not qualified for this. Like we don't know what we're doing. How's your C-section scar? I had one, but I have no idea if mine healed good or not. Dude, same. I have no idea if mine healed good or not. I think mine did keloid a little bit, but mine ripped open a bunch, so I don't think I have a normal experience. I really don't know. What do you mean when you say you don't carry a diaper bag? What do you use? Jack and I just keep diapers and wipes in our car, and usually anywhere we are, we have our car, so we just will like go back to the car and get the diaper. It's just easier than like always stocking a diaper bag or taking it with us. When did you start tracking macros postpartum? Is it right away too soon with breastfeeding? I would give yourself like at least 4 weeks to start tracking macros if you are going to track macros, because I think like your mindset is more important than tracking macros. And I think the first few weeks you just really need to like nourish yourself, nourish your baby, focus on you, relax, chill, heal. And then at 4 weeks is when I felt good enough to start tracking. And I would highly suggest tracking because it actually keeps my milk supply really high, because I find that I undereat if I don't track. But if tracking isn't a healthy form for you, then definitely stay away from it. I use Macro Habits. I'll put her tag right here, but there's a lot of other macro coaches. And if you're aware of macros, you can also go get a one-time macro count from her or online. Why didn't you just try to deliver breached instead of having a C-section with Velzy? The only option was having a home birth breached with a midwife I didn't have. So having that at 38 weeks pregnant was not an option. The time it takes to find a midwife that will deliver breech in your area and prepare your home for it, prepare your husband for it, and prepare yourself for it. And we already knew Velzy had cord double timed around her neck and double timed around her body. So it just like was too big of a risk for us, and that wasn't an option. We tried a version where they were turning the baby from the outside, and the ultrasound tech was like, yeah, this baby's not turning, and C-section seems like the most safe method. So Jack and I felt good about it. Losing weight while maintaining milk supply. I'm scared my supply will drop. Do not undereat. And I think the weight's gonna drop anyways, so just like don't rush it. And don't do anything crazy like only eat 1,000 calories a day. That is not it, and that's not gonna keep your milk supply up. But I would say one thing, keep your fats super high in your diet. My fats are super high. Irish grass-fed butter. I don't sub it out for the avocado spray. Like I use the real butter. Like I want all of the healthy fat. Traveling with babes. Oh man, we should make a whole video on this, Jack. Traveling with babies. Like I said, it just goes back to like having your babies be able to survive and thrive out of routine is what we go by, and so traveling is just another day. I would say travel a ton in the like beginning with your newborn, because your newborn is so easy and they sleep so much that it's like such a perfect way to help them get used to traveling, and it's a fun getaway for you, something to look forward to, so you don't get as many of the baby blues by just being like in one place, like your house like locked away almost. How did Tommy do at first with Velzy? What did you do to split time at first with demands of baby? I would try to spend like 30 minutes of really solid quality time with your oldest. Hopefully more than that, but like someone told me that just try to do that with your oldest every day. How was it when Velzy came into the family?
Oh, so good.
So good. Did it make you sad in the beginning, or were you okay?
I was okay.
Yeah. At first, Tommy was a bit sad about just the change in life and like the lack of...
Why I was sad?
Because you were just sad that mommy and daddy couldn't only spend time with you, but then she got used to it really quick, and I think like we didn't pressure her into like loving Velzy and forcing her to love Velzy. It was mostly just like hoping and giving her the time and space she needed to like grow to love Velzy and not feel forced to love Velzy. Best ways to support someone in postpartum early motherhood: don't go over to their house just to see and hold their baby and take a picture with it. Go over to their house, mop their floors, clean their house, do the dishes, bring them food. All those things mean the world. You can also set up a meal calendar and send it out to a bunch of people so they know they have meals. Do you ever get bad intrusive thoughts, anxiety? Yes, I do, because I get really worried about the babies that are born into really bad situations and bad families and don't get taken care of, but I can't even think about it or talk about it because I get really sad. Favorite approach to parenting? It is treat your kids how you want to be treated. Talk to them like you want to be talked to.
Do it again.
Be respectful to your kids. And just understand that they're doing life for the first time too. Okay, I'm almost done. How do you fly with breast milk? I bring like a little tiny lunchbox or Yeti cooler, and then I have little ice packs that I put in it, or you can just go to the airport, go through security because you can't take ice through security, and go to like the McDonald's and just ask for like a big cup of ice. And then I pour it into a bag and then put it in the same bag as the breast milk. Another thing is the 5-5-5 rule. So your breast milk is good 5 hours out on the counter after it's pumped, 5 days in the fridge, or 5 months in a freezer. It also is more if you put it in a deep freezer, but we just put it in a normal freezer, so it's 5 months in there. And if you take it out of the freezer and put it in the fridge, it lasts for 24 hours. To de-thaw breast milk, these are just things that people don't know, that no one told me, that we just kind of figured out. To de-thaw breast milk, you don't put it in the microwave. You just take out the bag and you break it into pieces as it runs under hot water, and then you just put it in a bowl of hot water and then it'll de-thaw. That's the safest way to de-thaw breast milk. So the 5-5-5 rule is a good rule of thumb. So if I pump milk and I'm on a 5-hour plane ride, then I'll just race home and put it in the fridge, but I'll try to get some ice on the plane to put in a bag. I'm not really organized with it. Sometimes it's just in a plastic bag, or I put it in a water bottle. What sports bra do you recommend getting back into running while breastfeeding? Go to Lululemon and ask for the most high support sports bra. It's a little bit expensive, but it's very worth it. I wear it every time I run. Do you follow a feeding schedule? I do not follow a feeding schedule. I feed on demand. I want my kids to learn at a young age hunger cues, and to eat when they're hungry and ask for food when they're hungry, and not feel like they only can be fed at a certain time of the day. That's just not how I feel is right for us as style of parenting. Not a question, but you and Jack made me and my husband so excited to have little someday. That makes me so happy. With so many families not sharing their kids online anymore, I definitely understand and respect their decision, but for us, like, it motivates us to keep sharing our family respectfully because of people like this who are nervous to have their own family but get excited watching us and our family. I just want to motivate people to not be afraid to have children, and that their life can still be full and fun. That is all for the Q&A. I'm so sorry that was way longer than I thought. I'm like, yeah, it'll be 10 minutes, but it wasn't. I hope you guys learned something. Let me know what you liked that I talked about in the comments below, and I'll respond to your comments. I love you guys. Thank you for being here. I love YouTube, and if you have any other questions or anything, I would love to get into more detail on some of these questions, so just let me know your guys' thoughts. And again, sorry that was so long, but I hope you have the best day, and I'll see you next Sunday.